I would now like to introduce someone that has been a strong advocate for climate action. That is our very own Congresswoman Katie Porter. Congresswoman Porter represents the 45th Congressional District and is an Irvine resident. Congresswoman Porter is a proud member of the House Natural Resources Committee, where she works tirelessly to protect our beaches and public lands, elevate science-based solutions to the climate crisis, and keep Orange County families safe from wildfires. She also chairs the Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee. That's where she leads efforts to hold polluters accountable. So please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Porter.
Thank you so much, Mayor Khan, for the introduction, and thank you for all of the work that you have done coordinating this wonderful effort and combating the climate crisis in our community. I also want a special thank you to all of the block leaders for your work in organizing and being willing to help empower our neighbors here in Irvine. We know in California firsthand the urgent need to take bold action on climate. 2020 and 2021 were among the most destructive years in California wildfires ever recorded. More than 6.9 million acres burned throughout the state, and in Orange County, the Silverado fire and the bonfires ravaged more than 20,000 acres, threatened tens of thousands of buildings, and forced so many families to evacuate, all in the middle of a global pandemic. These and other disasters are taking a real toll on our communities. In 2021 alone, weather-related disasters intensified by climate change cost taxpayers more than $100 billion. We cannot afford to wait any longer to take action, and community participation in programs like the Cool Block Challenge are essential to fighting climate change. But this burden cannot and should not be carried by Irvine or by Orange County families and advocates alone. Big polluters have taken advantage of our public lands and waters, exploited tax loopholes, and refused to clean up their messes for decades. This is wrong, and it cannot continue. In October, an aging oil pipeline leaked off the coast in Huntington Beach, and that broken pipeline poured thousands of gallons of oil into the ocean, harming wildlife and our local economy. As chair of the Natural Resources Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations, I had a field hearing in Irvine with a big thanks to the Irvine Ranch Water District for hosting that, so that community members and small business owners and climate activists, scientists could get information and speak directly with me and my colleagues about the harms caused by the leak. I want to be clear, cleaning up one mess is not enough. We need to stop these disasters from happening in the first place. And I support the West Coast Ocean Protection Act, which would ban oil and gas leasing in the waters off California, Oregon, and Washington. We have to put an end to big oil's chokehold on our coasts and on our communities. I've also been working at the federal level to close loopholes in our tax code that enable polluters to rip off taxpayers. And I am not afraid to stand up to oil companies. So I introduced legislation that would raise fees on polluters that extract from our public lands. We've been charging the same royalty rate for new oil, gas, and coal leases for more than 100 years. And those outdated fees cost taxpayers over $12 billion in the last decade alone. That is a lot of money that could have been put back into environmental and coastal restoration, capping wells, dealing with abandoned mines, conservation, public access to land, infrastructure on our public lands, energy modernization. I could go on. One thing we absolutely have to do is be investing in green energy. The climate crisis is a ticking time bomb, and the country that figures out how to diffuse it will be the country that leads the world in manufacturing jobs for centuries to come. We're going to get huge returns on every dollar that we put into green energy. And our global competitors know this, and that's why they're prioritizing green energy research. So I'm really excited to see that Orange County and that Irvine in particular is such a hub of green energy jobs. These jobs are not just in energy transmission, they're in research, they're in education. And this past summer, I was thrilled to welcome our United States Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh, to Irvine to help him show off UC Irvine's union-built electric vehicle infrastructure and some other wonderful things that Irvine is doing. Secretary Walsh and I heard from top-notch scientists about how green energy is essential to a strong, stable, globally competitive economy. For Irvine, for Orange County, for the United States, and for our planet, we cannot continue to rely on the technology of yesterday. The imminent threat of climate change cannot be ignored, and the efforts that those of you who are here today are a critical part of the solution. But we also have to keep the pressure on polluters and on our federal government. I'm so excited to have such a wonderful partnership here with local officials and strong leaders in our state, including our Governor Gavin Newsom, working together with President Biden and federal officials to develop and implement a greener path forward. Thank you to everyone for your dedication to the community. Thank you, Mayor Khan and the other members of the Irvine City Council and those city officials for all that you're doing to make positive change happen right here at home with the Cool City Challenge and setting an example for what we all need to be doing around our country and around the world to fight climate change. Thank you so much. And again, congratulations.